Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'd like to talk with you about human hair wigs and what I do with them out of the box. So this video, I'll be using this human hair wig by WIGs. Her name is Dorothy. She is a brand new wig straight out of the box. I have a lot of videos where I talk about synthetic wigs. And I have a number of videos where I talk with you about how to handle a wig out of the box. How do you assess whether or not the wig is going to work for you? And what do you do with box hair and different things like that? And this is my first video talking about this with human hair. So if you'd like to know more, because it is very different. Human hair is different than synthetic out of the box, and there are different considerations. So if you'd like to know about these, at least how I assess them, then stick around. We're just going to assess. I'm going to tell you about the critical things to look at and the things that I don't think should be deal breakers for you and why. I'm going to show you how to wash it, and I'm going to show you how I dry a human hair wig. So the first thing that you're going to do when you get a wig out of the, well, I guess the first thing you're going to do is you're going to determine what the return policy is of the company that you have purchased from. That is going to dictate what you will do when you get the wig out of the box. Every company is different as far as what they will allow in order for the wig to be eligible for return. So please do not do anything that I talk about in this video until you understand what the return policy is. All right, let's get to assessing Dorothy. So the first thing that you want to assess when you get a wig is fit. So let's take off Zoe and let's put Dorothy on. Now, please keep in mind, Dorothy is going to have horrendous box hair. I've not done anything to her, but try her on. She is going to have really bad box hair, as you can see. And this is, you know, box hair is common. I have the netting on my brush. Box hair is really common on synthetic wigs as well. And I do talk about how to deal with box hair in multiple videos, which I will link in the description. Consider what happens to your bio hair, your human hair that grows out of your head. When you sleep, think about it. A human hair wig has been sleeping in a box for who knows how long. And so please don't expect a human hair wig to look beautiful out of the box. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I buy a human hair wig, I'm asked if I would like the wig to be styled. And I always say no, because it doesn't, they can style it and it can look beautiful when it leaves their shop or wherever they're shipping from. It's not gonna look like that when it comes to me. It's gonna look like this. So I'd rather save that styling time, save them the styling time, save the heat, the heat on the wig, and do it myself. So just keep that in mind. Don't expect your wig to look beautiful out of the box. It is gonna have pretty bad box hair, worse than probably than any synthetic wig you've ever seen. It is just the nature of the beast when it comes to human hair. All right, so we're gonna assess fit. I think for me personally, fit is the #1 thing that will make or break whether or not I'm going to keep a wig. So I'm going to assess how comfortable is it? How does it fit me? Is it really tight? And do I have it adjusted all the way out? If it's loose, can I wear it with a wig grip comfortably or adjust it in comfortably? Now, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. If you have extremely small head measurements, sort of even smaller than the typical petite, or if you have really large head measurements, you may actually have to make some concessions on fit, because it can be really hard to find wig caps on the kind of extreme ends of the spectrum unless you go a custom route. I have a playlist on YouTube, which I will link in the description. I called it Other People's Tips and Tricks. And I have bookmarked in that playlist tons of videos showing you how to do things like make a wig cap smaller, make a wig cap larger, and other things that I've never filmed a video on. If you fall into one of those categories and you struggle greatly to find wigs that fit you, please go check out that playlist and bookmark some of those videos yourself. I hope to maybe make some myself in the future, but for now, I found some good quality videos with good advice. You may have to keep a wig that's either too small or too big and make modifications to them in order to find anything at all that will work for you. So while I think cap fit is sort of one of the #1 factors, it may not be something you have the luxury of using as a deciding factor if you do fall under those kind of other categories. And my heart goes out to you. I know how hard it is, which is why I have spent time trying to find videos to help you, because we all deserve to have beautiful hair. Some of us have to work harder at it than others, just kind of like anything in life though. So when I'm assessing fit, I'm assessing, okay, what kind of coverage do I get? Where do the ear tabs on the wig fall on me? And depending on the color that I have chosen, you know, so for example, my bio hair does show on this one. It isn't fitting me exactly like I prefer. And so as long as I choose a color that is close to my bio hair, or that I can use root touch-up powder to really get it to blend just a little bit, then where it falls on me maybe isn't as important. But if I'm going an extreme difference from my bio hair, then this fit right here really does matter. I'm also judging, you know, if it's running big on me, do I get a lot of extra cap up here that's causing it to lay funny? Comfort and fit, all of those things are very subjective. I actually have a video where I talk about cap fit with synthetic wigs and how to maybe judge whether it's fitting you appropriately or not. Everything in the wig journey does need to be taken with a bit of a grain of salt, because we're all so different. Some of us really prefer our wigs to be really snug. It gives us a sense of security, like our wig isn't going anywhere. And some people get really terrible headaches from a wig that is snug. So I can't tell you exactly what a good fitting wig is. I can give you some guidance, such as where do the ear tabs fall? You know, how comfortable, how tight is it? Do I get extra cap up here? Do I feel like it's sitting where it needs to at my nape? All of those things, but some of that's going to be subjective based on comfort as well. So the second thing I'm going to assess, and these could be somewhat interchangeable, because cap fit can somewhat be modified, whereas cap features are harder to judge. Let me tell you what I mean by cap features. So I'll take this one off. This particular piece has a monotop, it doesn't have a lace front, and it has closed wefting in the back. It has a bit of an extended nape, and it has hook adjusters. We also have clips on the ear tabs. So I need to assess for my own personal preference, do I need a lace front, or am I okay with a wig that doesn't have a lace front? What about this type of a cap? You know, I have my personal preferences between a lace top and a mono or a silk top. You know, is the type of cap construction here one that works for your personal preference? So you really do need to assess the cap construction, and does it work for your own personal preference, how you wear your wigs, all so I really would say assess that cap before you do anything else, because if it's got components that you're going to struggle with, you may want to wait to find a wig that works better. And you may not want to spend your money on something that you don't wind up reaching for because it doesn't have all the features that you prefer. So I would say cap size and cap features are nearly equal in my opinion on the things that you will assess before you do anything that makes it so that you can't return the wig. Okay, two other things that I would consider assessing, but I do not consider them crucial. And as a matter of fact, I would encourage you not to use these as deciding factors depending on what it is that's going on. And that is length and color. Let's start with color. That one's a little trickier. So human hair generally can be colored. Some manufacturers, though, use a type of dye called a textile dye versus regular hair dye. And textile dye is very difficult, if not impossible, to recolor. The reason why it's used sometimes is because it's a little bit hardier, it's longer lasting. You won't find that the wigs oxidize or fade nearly as fast as regular hair dye. So sometimes that is used, and it's a preference for some manufacturers for those reasons. But if you're someone that likes to customize the color of your wigs, maybe you purchase a wig and you'd like to add rooting, maybe you need some more highlights added, and they use textile dye, you're going to have a really hard time doing that. So if you think that there's a chance you're going to need to recolor a piece, I would reach out to that manufacturer and ask what type of dye they use to make sure that you actually can color it. If textile dye wasn't used, well, then you have more flexibility if you are either capable or you can find a stylist who can color the wig for you. I have a blog post on my website and a document where I list a number of wig specialists who specialize in customizing wigs for people, and I will link that in. Color is a little trickier, but I would just like to say that human hair wigs, the supply is much less than the demand in many cases, and it can be really, really hard to find a wig that is perfect for you in every way. Color and cut are two things that can be customized, and so I would be cautious about using them as the deal breaker unless you're willing to wait as long as it takes to find something that's perfect for you. So that brings me to the last one, which is cut. If a wig is too short for you, I think that's a good reason to send it back and to say this isn't going to work for me. But if it's too long for you, or if it just doesn't have, you know, if you want more layers, if you want bangs, if you want more face framing, those types of things, I think we should expect as human hair wig wearers to customize ourselves. And that's why I think if you're going to wear human hair, finding a stylist, whether it be in person or online, that can help make a wig yours is going to be one of the #1 tools in your toolbox that you'll need to have. It's so incredibly difficult to find a wig that is your perfect hair, from style to color to everything. It's just so hard, and with wig inventory is low, and a lot of these retailers that have really high quality pieces, they sell out quickly. So please don't use style as your #1 deal breaker when it comes to deciding on whether or not to keep a wig. If it's too short, I think that makes sense, but if it's too long, I think that knowing how you can get it customized is really going to help make that journey for you a lot more enjoyable and give you a lot more options. All right, everybody, that's it. That's sort of my process that I go through in assessing whether or not I should keep a piece or not. Now, just some honorable mention when I talk about cap style, some of these things you're not going to know in the beginning, so you may need to make some purchases and learn what works for you and what doesn't. For example, lace fronts, they come in different lengths. Sometimes you'll find a 4-inch lace front, and it might be a 4x5 or a 4x4 or 4x6. That first measurement is the lace. The second measurement is the parting space. You might find a 5-inch lace front. And what's really common are 13-inch lace fronts. The lace on a 13-inch goes all the way beyond your ears. And I personally don't like those lace fronts. My sweet spot is a 5-inch. That's not something I would have known in the beginning. I only know that because I've gotten a few 13-inch lace fronts and I've learned it. So please be gentle with yourself. I know this is an expensive journey, and that makes this, it feels like the stakes are really high to get it right. But there are some things you're just not going to know in the beginning, and you may have to make some purchases. All right, you guys, now let's wash this wig so that you can see how I do it.
All right, everyone, let's wash and condition. So I'm using a BioSilk product. I will make sure the conditioner and shampoo are linked in the description. I use about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons, kind of depends on how dirty the wig is. That's maybe overkill. I think a tablespoon is enough. And then I just dunk the wig up and down. I don't put the shampoo on the wig. I put it in the water and then I cleanse it that way. If your wig is dirty, pay special attention to cleaning the cap. I didn't need to do so much of that on this one, but don't forget about the cap. So just dunk up and down, making sure to prevent tangles by keeping it going in one direction and running your fingers through it to smooth it out. Then I just rinse it under running water. Make sure I get all the shampoo out. I turn it inside out, rinse the cap, then rinse the hair until the water runs clear. Then I condition the wig. Again, I'm using a BioSilk product to condition. And I do it the exact same way. Now, conditioner doesn't always dissolve as well in water, so I find using a whisk actually really helps. I don't need to do that for the shampoo, but again, I do all of this the same. The one exception is if you have any hand-tied features like a lace front, hand-tied, any part of the cap, you want to keep the cap out of the water. You don't want the conditioner loosening the knots. So I just am really careful. I dunk up and down, and I do let it soak in the conditioner. I usually put a cup or something in the sink so I can put the wig over that. Okay, friends, forgive me, but I have to insert a quick voiceover here. You may or may not know this about me, but I'm always learning about wigs. I'm always seeking new information, and I pay very close attention to the content that is put out there. There is some controversy over washing human hair wigs. I'm going to address this in a future video. Please note that what I am showing today is how I wash my human hair wigs at present. I am considering making some changes. I will bring that information to you. I do not think that this is inherently a wrong way to do it, but I've learned some new information, and instead of completely deleting this video, I will keep it because I think it can be helpful, but stay tuned to some new content from me coming soon where I address the various controversies and the various ways people do this. And then I just rinse it really well, get all of the conditioner out. Remember, this is human hair, so you want to make sure it's moisturized. Use a moisturizing shampoo. Then once I bring out all the excess liquid, I don't squeeze the cap, I don't twist. I then put it on a towel, roll it up, and press out the water. I don't squeeze, I don't rub, I just press. Sometimes I'll let it sit on the towel for a little while to absorb as much water as possible. Microfiber towels work great as well. Then I comb out the wig, make sure I get all the tangles out, and then I put it on a collapsible plastic stand. I like these because they're open. Now, you'll see me use a hairdryer here in a second. I use a hairdryer with a diffuser on medium or low to dry the cap. I find that it really helps the wig to dry better. Caps can take so long to dry. I don't dry the rest of the hair, just the cap. Then I hang it and let it dry. It works great, easy, doesn't take very long at all, and protects your investment.
All right, everyone, I hope that was helpful in showing you the assessment process that I go through with a human hair wig and the things that I consider in making a determination to keep it. It is a very expensive journey, there is no doubt, and there's a lot to learn, some of which you can maybe assess through videos and some of which you just can't without personal experience. But the more you learn, the more you educate yourselves, the better, the less scary, the more successful your journey will be. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. And if you have other suggestions that might help one of your wig sisters, why don't you leave it in the comments? Maybe someone will read it, or I may use it in a future video because I always compile the advice that I get from all of you. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in my next video.